The slideshow I will be referencing for this video is also available in the description. Feel free to use the timestamp there to skip to whatever sections you need. I also have a Google Sheets in the description with all the successful team clears I have seen so far, with video links where available. While I try to leave helpful tips in my endgame clears here and there, this is my first dedicated video series of this kind, so let me know if you have any feedback or would like to see something similar for future endgame content. With that out of the way, let's begin. With all that in mind, let's look at our ideal sustains. Aventurine is our top sustain for offering team-wide 50% effect res, which becomes 100% with the Feats of Might buff, meaning total CC and debuff immunity. He also plays SP positive thanks to his shields working properly again, thank guy after Triclops, and does the most toughness damage out of any sustain. Due to being a preservation unit, he is also more likely to soak up damage, making his single target protection quite strong. As for top tier synergies, his frequent attacks and love for follow-ups make him a good partner for 4-star Herda and Jade, who are often paired with the Herda, and his ability to run Tren or his S1 for debuffs makes him a good Acheron partner too. Do keep in mind that the Herda and any other characters that have high speed or self-action advance will make his shields expire faster. Xuan also has CC immunity and contributes some toughness damage, along with preservation aggro and the best single target mitigation in the game with 100% uptime. However, her CC immunity is one time and costs an SP to refresh, making her playstyle slightly positive at best or negative at worst. She can also struggle with handling strong AoE attacks, though a well-built Xuan won't have to worry about this. An interesting check choice is running Texture Memories on her, since it gives her 16% effect res for tanking CCs without refreshing her field. Lingsha and Huohuo are hands down the best defensive synergies for enemy hit count or break and energy hungry teams respectively. For Lingsha, this means the Herda and Jade for hit count teams, and Rappa, Boothill, E2 Firefly for break, and for Huohuo, any team with Robin or Remembrance MC. However, their inability to protect versus action delay or resist CCs targeted at themselves without building effect res makes them slightly riskier sustains. To be clear, your team won't die with them as your sustains, but they might get delayed and pushed back if they aren't stacking effect res. Lynx's toughness damage is also somewhat wasted here, as the only fire weak enemy is a lesser sting, and she's overall better utilized versus Fantilia on the other half, all else being equal. Other good purely defensive options include Luocha and Gepard. Not only is Luocha's ST positivity great paired with effortless healing, his innate 70% CC res makes him good at soaking up debuffs, though even with the 50% effect res from Feats of Might, he still has about a 20% chance to get CC due to how CC res and effect res interact with each other. Gepard, on the other hand, only has 18% effect res and relies on his ult for shields, but has innately increased aggro on top of being a preservation unit. This is a double-edged sword. Being able to tank CCs can mess with the shield uptime, but it can also divert CCs away from the team and towards himself. In other words, if you stack enough effect res on him, especially with a taunt Lycone on top, then your team will never have to worry about CC again. Gepard works especially well on any team without excessive action advance, and the ability to run Trend with increased aggro makes him a good Acheron pick too. Luocha, on the other hand, works well on just about any team. If you're fine with playing even riskier though, Ice March and Gallagher are budget options worth looking into. Ice March's targetable taunt lets any character of your choosing gain constant energy from being hit, and her frequent counters can chip at Scarabaz's toughness while constantly spawning more stings to kill. These frequent counters work especially well with the Herda, since all attacks count as hitting at least 3 targets for her talent, letting March replenish Herda's energy at a rate on par with Lingsha. Her AoE freeze, while being chance-based, is also nice against so many targets. On the other hand, Gallagher has 78% effect res from his traces and E1 alone, meaning he can easily hit 100% effect res even without the buff. His Besotted debuff also makes him good for break teams, though he has trouble keeping it up along with the accompanying healing on anyone not named Scarabaz. Still by far the best quid pro quo abuser and SP generator, with frequent enough attacks and debuffs to synergize with the Herda and Acheron teams respectively. As for the bottom of the barrel healers, Lynx actually has a destruction taunt attached to her skill, which Clara and Yunli in particular enjoy. This comes along with a one-time debuff resisted E2, plus an AoE cleanse for her ult. The fact that her skill lasts 2 turns instead of Ice March's 3 does leave her more SP hungry though, and her healing numbers, while consistent, can still leave teams wanting. Conversely, though Bailu's healing and damage mitigation is more than enough, the lack of cleanse or CC resist also massively hurts her here. Natasha sits somewhere in the middle of these two, having slightly better healing than Lynx, but falling behind Bailu, and her CC mitigation is nowhere as good as Lynx's, but at least it exists, unlike Bailu's. Finally, using Preservation MC is actively detrimental as they prevent you from using Harmony or Remembrance MCs, which, spoiler, are both top tier in this current rotation. They're also the worst sustain in the game at keeping your team alive, which says something. If you want to build Eff Res to increase your sustain's chance of CC resist, then some options to consider besides getting Eff Res rolls on relics are the Broken Heal Planer, which provides 10%, Texture of Memories for Preservation units, which provides 16%, and Perfect Timing for Abundance units, which provides 32% in S5. That being said, Xuan is the only preservation that can optimally run Texture of Memories, and running Quid Pro Quo on your Abundance unit is almost always the best option. My next video will cover the best DPS to beat Scarabaz with, which I'm sure you could guess based on who I frequently recommended as best teammates here. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you there.